Hello everybody. I welcome you all to this session on manpower planning, impacting factors and trends. I am Dr. Chandrakant Sahu from IMT Katak. So, let us have a review of the last session that we have discussed. In the last sessions, we are discussing about the levels of manpower planning, and that happens that takes place at micro and macro level. And apart from that, we have also discussed the various approaches to manpower planning. The approaches include socio demand approach, rate of return approach, manpower requirement approach, quantitative and qualitative approach, and see some of the cases that mixed approach is also used. That means combination of both quantitative and qualitative approach is also used. That we have discussed. In these sessions, we will discuss the various factors impacting or affecting manpower planning, and under the factors we will also discuss some of the trends, HR trends that also influence or the impact the manpower planning. So basically, when you talk of factor affecting human resource planning or manpower planning, there are, broadly speaking, there are two factors. One is external, another is internal. External factors, that socio-economic scenario, take for example socio-economic scenario and technological scenario of the business environment. Industry life cycle, take for example, suppose it is the case of like a bank, okay, IDBI, take for example. So what is the banking industry scenario? How does it affect does it affect uh, a particular bank and its HR? So sometimes pressure group, take for example, suppose pressure group means it can be sometimes media, or it can be sometimes like trade union sometimes pressurize the uh, organization to that develop its HR strategy that benefits trade union. Okay, sometimes labor market also, that also behavior. So the labor market talks about demand and supply, that equations, or it is there is imbalances like that it talks about. Okay, and internal, like nature of the job, time horizons, all these things we will also discuss. Okay, so in this video we will discuss about the current scenario, like how COVID-19 has impacted the whole world. Okay, so we'll discuss here the US scenario, United States scenario, and India as well. Okay, so basically, if you see that COVID-19 has taken the whole world into its grips. Okay, so it has not only impacted the lives of people and but also the businesses. Okay, so if you see in United States of America, around 44 million to 44 million to 50, this is McKinsey data, recently surveyed McKinsey data. Okay, it's a consulting firm. 44 million to 57 million jobs are vulnerable in the short term, offset slightly by 2 or 3 millions new jobs. And so these are vulnerable, these jobs are basically that affected. Okay, so vulnerable jobs by industry, this graph tells about the vulnerable jobs by industry. So basically worst affected, if you see, it is accommodation and food industry. Okay, and most of the jobs are in lower range rather than upper range. Okay, so if you see the maximum jobs because of this COVID-19 situation, maximum jobs affected are in accommodation and food services, followed by retail. Okay, then healthcare and social assistance, construction, it is the real estate, you can say this is also affected, because when there is no business activities. Okay, basically that real estate has come to a standstill. Okay, sometimes that when offices are not working, sometimes administrative support and where that services kind of things, these are also affected. Governments also, government, as you know, that government has lost revenue. Okay, around 80% revenue dropped by government of Odisha, if you see. Okay, and similarly at the central level also, in that central government has also lost revenue. Okay, that means financial front, the government is also that struggling a lot. Okay, manufacturing basically, because of since there is no business activities, purchasing activities, manufacturing is also down. Okay, so this is also impacting the jobs. Okay, so transportation and warehousing also impacted. Arts, entertainment, recreation, the park take for example, and film hall, talkies take for example, these are completely closed during that. So no business, then no business means their employees are also affected. They might not be getting salary also. Okay, wholesale trade, so real estate and that rental, educational services. If you see that in education also, if you see, and since students are not there in the campus, and students are not paying fee, so there's the staff salary is also affected for this. Okay, so um, mm, personal services, professional, scientific and technical services, religious services, financial, insurance, informations, repair, all these. If you see that worst affected is accommodation and food services, and least affected if you see this, that is mining, quarrying, and oil and gas, agriculture, forestry and fishing services. Okay, so if you come to the second picture, if you see among the estimated, this is that what it is, 46% of vulnerable jobs, 46% of vulnerable jobs are in food services and customer services and sales, if you see this. Okay, so basically this tells, this is the figure in millions that you see. These are the various kinds of services like most affected, as I have said here also, accommodation, food services, here also that food services followed by customer services, then office support, then this production work, builders, mechanical installations, like health related things, educators and trainers, community services, transportation services. You see there is a lot of as there was no transport services for a long period of time, over a long period, what happens, there was no transportations, indeed their workers, their staffs were also affected, and this is also property maintenance and agriculture, this is also affected, and creative art management managers, business and legal, the employees relating to this, and health professionals, and this is also this. Okay, so if you see, this is the worst affected, if you see, that is called food services followed by customer services and so on. Among the estimated 13.4 million vulnerable jobs in United States in the restaurant industry, and 3.6 million involve food preparation and serving, a category that includes fast food also, are also affected. So that these food services that we are talking. Okay, so among almost 11 million jobs in customer services and sales are vulnerable. Okay, they vulnerable, they are at risk, these jobs are risk. Okay, so if you see the pandemic situation, so the purpose of telling that, you must understand how a particular outbreak of a virus has impacted the whole world economy. Okay, so basically in a developed countries, like in a developed nation like United States. Okay, so let us also have a glance at this. These are the sectors uh, that, if you see Indian scenario, these are the sector auto manufacturing sectors. Okay, so 5 million pre-COVID employees, those who were working in pre-COVID period, okay, they are affected. So 2 to 3 millions, okay, can it get worse? So this is expected. This is survey like industry association. This is indeed one estimate figure. Estimates by manpower firms and companies. It's a consulting firm. Okay. So that it estimates that around 2 to 3 can it get worse. That means maybe marginalized kind of things. Okay. So yes, demand likely to stay low. This demand in for these kind of jobs in auto manufacturing are going to be low. So they are most probably are going to be marginal. You see the impact in a particular industry, as you know that auto manufacturing sales was drastically down because of this COVID-19 period. Okay, so retail, organized and unorganized retail, 46 million employees are going to be affected. Okay, so even if it will continue for coming 3 months, 6 millions in next 3 months are going to be affected. Okay, yes, as consumers trade down, more jobs may go also. Okay, this is so market must improve. If the job scenario that gets improved, before that market must improve. Okay, so similarly auto dealership, take for example 4 million employees, auto dealership. Okay, so dealership point, those who are working this many. Okay, job losses around 2 lakhs. Okay, and counting it is, so it may also be more. Okay, it can that 2 lakh employees and counting, can it get worse. Okay, this is indeed one that my estimated figure. Okay, so similarly in restaurant job, if you see, so 7.3 millions expected, job losses 2 millions. Okay, so yes, dining out may not recover for months. Okay, so since there is not regular opening of restaurants, this is going to be impacted. So yes, similarly in media and entertainment industry, it is 6 million. Okay, so job losses around 6 to 7 lakh 20,000 may that take place. Okay, still similarly it is also job losses, it is 2 lakh to 2 point that 2 lakh 40,000 maybe job losses. Okay, so similarly in internet business, job losses is 80,000 and or 80,000 to 1 lakh. Okay, since lockdown. So in real estate, it is around 14 million. Okay, real estate indeed that offers good employment opportunities, basically semi-skilled or unskilled people. Okay, so many of the people are here in this. Okay, travel and tourism, so there is no transportations, many of the people who are working in tourism industry, so they are also going to be affected, they were also affected. 38 millions in next few months are expected. Okay, so tourism industry are not likely to get a very good boost soon. Okay, so this situation may, the employee situation may worsen. Okay, similarly, so in education, take for example job losses around 3.6 millions to 4.5 millions. Telecom and service and manufacturing, it is around job losses 70,000. So if you see, but however in IT, where white collar employees work with intellectual workers, so they have developed that working from a home, the projects are still going on. So um, there is no such that significant that job cut. Okay, so good news that 4.3 million pre-COVID jobs or has been minimal job cut and has added 60,000 this years. Okay, similarly edutech, if you see edtech, 1 million pre-COVID jobs may hire 50% or more. Okay, similarly this is the situation, this is the overall India, that all India situation, how a particular outbreak of virus has impacted all the industry. Okay, so therefore we must understand how a that country background or the world that business has been affected because of this virus. Okay, so see what is the impact on this COVID-19. If you see what are the impact on HR policy. Okay, so HR policy impact is also there. So there is also, they say, on recruitment process, mostly during downturn there may be freezing of recruitment activities. But however, where there are recruitment activities, there may be certain kinds of precautions may be taken. Okay, companies are innovating their recruitment process using technology. So now, earlier what was happening, people are moving from one place to another to appear interview. Okay, so this is not going to happen, it seems. Okay, so physical something that people moving to a particular place and appear for direct board interview, so this may not happen. Basically in recruitment process, if you see, technology is going to uh, play a lead role. Okay, like there can be like interview through Google Meet, or you can say the Skype. Okay, so there are various kinds of act through video conferencing. The recruitment process may take place. Okay, so in recruitment you will see more companies will come forward to recruit if they want to do it is through video conferencing. And in recruitment it was never before that now that companies are checking the travel history of the applicant. Okay, basically they want to minimize COVID-19 risk. Okay, so there are certain guidelines also have been established that require new hires to declare their last 14 months of travel before onboarding. Okay, so the now it was never before, uh, it was not there before. So now employees have to declare their travel history for 14 days before onboarding. So basically in selection process, if you see, it is interview through technology, it may happen. Okay, so these are the things. So mostly there will be downsides. Okay, so it is soon to comment as the situation is still volatile and constantly changing. We are equipped to leverage technology for hiring. So basically what I have talked about, that this is the things, this is the impact. Okay, so if you see, it is also very much significant for you. I understand that you must understand in what direction HR is moving. That means for future of HR in industry 4.0. So if you see, there are four that industry revolution has taken places. Okay, it has taken first industrial revolutions. If you see, industry 1.0 took place in the at the end of 18th century. So there that the use of water and steam power to run mechanical production facilities, that has been emphasized, because at that time there was no such electricity, that if you see. Okay, so basically water and steam power, basically they used to run. So basically at that this period, if you see, the manpower, most of the people may be unskilled or semi skilled. Okay, so gradually what happens, use of at the beginning of 20th century, what happens, people or the industry started using electric power uh, to enable work sharing mass production. So in mass production what happens, so this electric power is also used. So if you see, there's some kind of a new trade like ITI, electrical or electrical engineering kind of things, it is such kind of jobs started getting demands. Okay, so in industry 3.0 it started in early 1970, but basically this get a lot of importance when in India, basically during LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization period. Okay, so basically use of electronics and IT to automate productions. So production process gets automated. Okay, so now it is industry 4.0, where you will find that use of cyber physical system to monitor, analyze and automate business. If you see, now automation is going on also. Even if you see, there is a trend in IT industry like that so middle level in IT industry is automated. So now what IT industry is doing, instead of looking for, in many of the companies, this is not universal, I am not telling. So many of the companies what they are doing, so for lower level what they are taking science graduate and or like that, or MCA or science graduate they are taking, and they are providing a kind of training, and they are placed, they are onboarded into the jobs. That is happening because of the cost effectiveness. If a company is hiring an engineers, and engineers definitely uh, will that there will be more salary expenses will come. Therefore automation of middle level, and if you see, the lower level jobs are also given to the non ITs that professionals, just having science graduations plus a related training program, domain training program. Okay, so this is, so basically what are the things, trends in, if you say, internet of things, big data, machine learning and artificial intelligence and virtual reality. Okay, these are the trends basically, and those who are good in these aspects, they are likely to be the hot cake in the job market. Okay, basically if you see IoT or internet of things, so it is the interconnection via internet of computing devices embedded in everyday objects, enabling them to send and receive data. Okay, so data, if you say, this is going to be very relevant now. Okay, similarly big data also, big data, if you see, it is that extremely large data sets that may be analyzed computationally to reveal patterns and trends, associations, especially relating to human behavior and interactions. Okay, suppose people, if in a particular company many people are leaving, there is job attritions. Okay, what are the pattern of living, what are the pattern of existing behaviors among the people who are leaving the organization, that people want to study. So they may do stay interview, they may conduct exit interview. From their responses they may develop certain kind of analysis that reveals certain kind of research insights there will be there. So uh, uh, big data helps HR in that also. Okay, so similarly machine learning is also there. Machine learning means it is the application of artificial intelligence that to provide system the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Okay, so it focuses on the development of computer program that can access data and use it to learn for themselves. Okay, so this is also important, that's why robotics is also now it is also there. Okay, so these are the things. Normally the future of workforce, if you see the employees in basically in service industry, they need to have the competencies in these areas. So therefore workforce 4.0 will be, or next generation of workforce will be empowered. There will be paradigm shift of power from the hands of employees to the hands of from the hands of entrepreneur to the hands of employees. So they need to be empowered. If the employer wants to retain them, they need to empower them. It is not that bossism will not work in futures. Okay, so they need, so system has to be decentralized. So next generation of workforces are empowered to drive business performance. Okay, so they need to connect through technology. So collaboration and collective intelligence is at the core of the business transformations. So the future of workforce is definitely going to be diverse, where the talent is available. The company may like to focus uh, in that area. For procurement, employee diversity forms the basis of continuously evolving the work cultures. So talent unlocks talent also, talent management. So the future of definitely talent is going to be a top priority. Okay, talent unlocks business value because although it is a digital world, people still make it turn. Okay, so talent is also important. So if you see, there are three kinds of HR world you will find in futures. Okay, so it is that blue world, the orange world, the green world. Okay, so if you see what are the differences, this is individualism to collectivism. This is individual approach, this is team approach. There is a movement. Okay, but however, so all these worlds are also important, we must understand. Okay, so blue world means corporate is the king, it is more corporate centric. Okay, so corporate is the king. So what is the driving on profit, growth and market leadership? Okay, market leadership through differentiation strategy. Okay, so how to compete? Blue world. So here if you see, it is the punchline or in orange world is small is beautiful. So in orange world what happens, there is a gig economy. So basically a lot of people will join as a freelancers. Okay, they will not prefer full-time jobs. Okay, they will freelancing. Okay, kind of things. So basically driving goal is maximizing flexibility while minimizing fixed cost. So basically flexibility is the key. Okay. So a massive transformative purpose it is. So here in case of green world, it is positive social and environmental impact. All these things if you see, so you can relate these to also Hawthorne's experiment that you have studied. Okay, so social aspects of people have been given priority. Okay, so how to compete? Scale is the crucial differentiator. What is the scale? Scale means it is the size of the operations. Take for example, so during COVID-19, why MSME sector is mostly affected? If you see, so other sectors are affected. If you see that MSME sector is very much it is struggling. But if you see the scale of operation like that Tata group of companies, it is a big group. So when there is a economic shock, the if the group like Tata Group can absorb the shock very well, whereas small group like the small MSME farms cannot have this. So scale is the crucial indicators. Okay, here embracing the rise of gig economy, hiring a diverse mix of people in an affordable and ad hoc basis. So this is the people trend. As I have said that people that there will be people who will work flexibly. It's not office job like 9 to 5 jobs. Okay, so hiring a diverse mix of people on an affordable ad hoc basis. Okay, don't own assets. Okay, all these things. Similarly, here a social and environmental conscience is demanded by customer and staffs. So if you see, this is more people centric. Okay, therefore it is companies care. Companies care for whom? Care for employees. Okay, employees empowerment you can talk about. Okay, so here employees value proposition is in a world where the core is shrinking. The core of business is shrinking and the peripheral is expanding. You see, peripheral business is expanding but core is shrinking. The promise of job security and status will attract a lot of talent. So for people, job security and status will get priority. But here if you see, waiting for you next gig. So a person is working in a particular or freelancing a particular farm, he will look for another. So this will happen. Okay, so here ethical values and work life balance in return for loyalty towards an organization that does right by its employees. This is also important. So gig economy is growing rapidly, increasing from 10% of the workforce in 2005 to 16% in 2015 in United States. So this is the data I have taken from that slides here. Okay, this is so we must understand in God we trust, but everyone else bring data. And this is we sorry W. Edwards Demings. Okay, so what does it mean? This we can trust God. Okay, but in order to trust people, we should see that to what extent people are data driven. Okay, that means people must work on data. That is the thing. Not telling. It is not some kind of theoretical storytelling will not work in companies. Okay, so these are the internal factors. If you see internal factor, nature of the jobs, take for example is going to suppose where there is a shift job. So shift job, you have to see the job analysis or job description part. Also certain kind of jobs, manufacturing, take for example, there are shift working, 3 shifts working maybe there. Okay, so accordingly policy issues will be there. Okay, HR planner has to work onto that, or security job kind of thing. So these are the things have to be looked into. So time horizons, take for example, time is also very much important. Okay, whether suppose a farm software farm is having one short term projects. For a short term projects, it may not hire people for um, permanently. Okay, therefore what it can do, it can hire that people from gig economy, there something like freelancing kind of things, okay, like that it can manage. So long term, take for examples where so the cost leadership strategy is there, market is not volatile, you can hire for long term. But when market is highly volatile and the firm is having a differentiation strategy like innovative strategy, so if that then it is very difficult for the firm to develop long term objectives, okay, HR objectives. Similarly, organization strategy, there are the two strategies I have written here, there are indeed many other strategies. If cost leadership strategy means the market is not that dynamic or volatile, here it is volatile. So strategy focuses efficiency, stability and cost control. So HR strategy is long term planning horizons, build skill in existing employees, you see it is existing employees. Job and employee specialization efficiency. HR activities, what are the HR activities? Promote from within, extensive training, hire and train for specific capability. But if it is market is volatile and the organization is having differential strategy, it can what will be the strategy focus? Growth, innovation and decentralization. It here is centralization may work, but here it is decentralization, empowerment that we are talking about, faculty or the staff empowerment, okay, people empowerment. So here shorter HR planning horizons you can have, higher the HR capabilities needed. So you may or the HR may look for new hiring people, okay. So broader, more flexible jobs and employees, something that we are talking of, that gig economy we are also talking of. So external hiring HR activities may continue for HR this that external staffing, okay, less training, hire and train for new broader competency, okay. So we have done our session for today, okay. So what are the discussion for today? That we have discussed today basically uh, uh, two of the important things that we have discussed. One is impacting factors, there are various factors that we have discussed. One is internal factor, another is external factor. In that we have discussed various kinds of trend, especially like how COVID-19 has impacted the whole economy, world economy and uh, Indian economy, and impacted the job and job holders. Besides that, we also talk about this that future of HR, okay, that industry under industry 4.0, what are the basic trends and people characteristics, what kind of people industry 4.0 is looking for, and after that we have also discussed some of the internal factors. I think we have done it for today, okay. So we'll end here. In the next sessions we are going to have one like a HR process we will start, okay. Thank you very much.